Welcome. In this video we're going to look just at the Tpcasst template. I'm going to go through what I expect you to do in each category, and this should give you a good sense as to how to use this tool. I did not come up with the Tpcasst template. I'm really not sure who did. I found it online, and I think it's a great way to analyze poetry that you haven't seen before, especially if you're not really into poetry. It gives you a set of steps that you can follow, and from there you can make your own conclusions. Alright, Tpcasst, as I'm sure you figured out, is an acronym. It stands for Title Paraphrase, Connotation, Attitude, Shift, Title Revisited, and Theme. So those are the 7 steps that you will need to do in order to complete the poem. Okay, so the first thing you want to do when you get to a poem is the title. Read the title. Often in these older poems, the title is the first line of the poem, but sometimes it's different. Read the title and ask yourself, what could this mean? What is the author trying to say in the title? In the space provided, jot down a number of different options for what the poem could be about. If you have these ideas in mind as you read the poem, you're going to do a much better job because you're going to be thinking at least in the right direction. You might not necessarily be correct when you write down the title the first time because you haven't read the poem, but at least come up with some ideas. The second section is paraphrase. Now, the word paraphrase, I'm sure you all know it. It means to put things in your own words. However, some people mix up the word paraphrase and the word summary. I'm not asking you to summarize the poem. I'm asking you to go through the poem line by line and translate each line into your own words. Why do you do this? Well, sometimes when people summarize, they really just sort of skim the poem, and if they don't understand something, they leave it out and they just ignore it. That can work from time to time, but for some of these complex poems, you want to at least make sure you're looking at each line. So go through each poem line by line and reword it into your own words. It can be rather simple as far as the wording goes, but make sure there are as many lines in your paraphrase as there are in your summary. Connotation. This is sort of the trickiest one. Connotation, what you need to do is you need to use all of the skills you've learned over the past 4 years about poetic devices and find as many as you can. Look for symbols, look for alliteration, look for allusion, look for caesuras and kennings and everything that we've talked about so far. And make a list as you go through. I'm not expecting you to find every single device. That would be ridiculous. But find devices that you think pop out at you, that you think are interesting. And next to each device that you find, write down what it could possibly mean. Again, you're still in the process of putting together all of these things, so I don't expect you to have a complete, accurate definition at this point, but come up with some ideas. Attitude. After you have found out all of the different devices, you want to start to put them together and think, what do these have in common? What do they say about what the poem is really about? How do they show the author's attitude? I'm not looking for a single word. I don't want you to tell me that the poet is sad or the poet is happy. What is the poet talking about? What does the poet care about? You're going to have several complex sentences here. The S is for shift. Rarely, it says here, does a poem begin and end the same way. In a sonnet, you know that there is a turn partway through, and in most poems, there is some sort of change. Look for that change. There might be 1, there might be 3, but look for points that the poem changes tone or changes mood or changes ideas. Look for that yet, or however, or but moment that everything shifts. Okay, so now that you've done all of that, you get to the title revisited. Now that you've read the poem and analyzed it and broke it down and paraphrased it, now take a look at the title again. Were you correct in your guesses from the beginning, or were you completely off? Was the title being sarcastic, or was the title being accurate? And how does that change the meaning of the poem? The last one, probably the most important, is the theme. Remember, a theme is a lesson about life in general. A theme is not a phrase. A theme is not a word. You cannot say the theme is love, or the theme is money, or the theme is happiness. Those are just words. You need to come up with some sort of statement about what we as a reader can get from this. Again, the important thing to remember when analyzing poetry is that there's not necessarily one right answer. I am not out to get you for getting an answer wrong. What I want you to do with each of these is I want you to explore. I want you to try new things. I want you to do your best. Bring your ideas to the table, and then we'll talk about them. If you do that, that's all I ask, and we'll take it from there. Remember, failure is only failure if you stop trying. Well, thanks for stopping by. Good luck analyzing the poems. Remember, the amount you have to analyze depends on which method you choose, and we'll look forward to seeing your answers in the seminars and discussion boards. Have a great day.